Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm John Baylor, sitting in just this segment because we have a terrific opportunity to talk with the president of the University of Nebraska System, Dr. Jeff Gold. And Dr. Gold, NFL draft just behind us. How important is it to see Huskers, former Huskers, have a chance, get drafted, and go to the National Football League?
Well, it's really a big deal because it's a marker of excellence of our athletic programs here at UNL. And of course, it's not just the NFL draft, but it's all of our student athletes have aspirational goals to play professionally. I was just actually with one of our women's basketball players who was drafted into a European league, and she's going to play professionally there, at least for a period of time. And it's a great sense of pride for the students who want to do that. But, you know, it's part of a much bigger picture because all of our student athletes, and underscore the word student athletes, are very academically accomplished as well. A number of major academic All-American awards every year, which is a great sense of pride for me and for so many others. And so whether our students go on to play professionally, whether they go on to coaching jobs, which of course many of our student athletes have successfully done as well, or whether they go into business or law. I've actually spent time with a group called Husker Healers, which is a group of student athletes that want to go to medical school, nursing, pharmacy school, become a PA or some other field in the health professions. And they are, you know, just so disciplined in their athletic pursuits and also so disciplined in their academics that they're extremely successful. I just mentored a student who will be a first-year med student next year here at UNMC, and I'm really excited for him.
Dr. Gold, of course, you ran and were the head of UNMC for a long time. Project Health is one of the university's most ambitious efforts to address healthcare needs across Nebraska. What's the vision behind Project Health?
Sure. Well, Project Health is part of a three-phase project, better known as Project NEXT, N-E-X-T, standing for Nebraska Transformation. And it's broken into three different pieces, and the first and probably the most important piece we refer to as Project Health, which is short for Building the Healthiest Nebraska. And this relates to creating a new world-class academic health center facility on the Omaha campus that will allow us to increase workforce production in the health professions, provide better access to clinical trials for patients being treated for cancer and heart disease and stroke and Alzheimer's and so many other problems, medical problems that confront Nebraskans and the rest of the country, and at the same time replace a very aging set of facilities that has become incredibly expensive to maintain. Now, what our audience may not know, it is the largest public-private partnership ever done in the university system. It is currently contemplated to be just under a $2.2 billion project with participation in the capital stack from the state, from the city of Omaha, a major investment by the private philanthropic community, indeed one of the largest, if not the largest philanthropic project ever tried in the state of Nebraska, and of course investment by the healthcare system and investment by the university. But the biggest investment in all of this is in the future of the state of Nebraska, both rural and urban. You know, while the facility may be literally coming out of the ground and there's, you know, drilling holes and pouring concrete literally as we speak today, the gain for that and the result of this state investment and the university's investment is going to be providing better healthcare access to the entire state of Nebraska through workforce, through clinical excellence, through building relationships with multiple rural critical access hospitals and community hospitals that will have a facility and the expertise in that facility to help them continue to grow and to deliver the highest quality of healthcare. You know, at the end of the day, we talk a lot about the farming and ranching communities and the importance of the ag sector. We get that. We talk a lot about the businesses and the manufacturing industries of the state. We get that also as well. But if there's not access to quality, reliable health care, all of that starts to crumble. So this is a really big deal for the future.
Visiting with President Gold, he runs the University of Nebraska system. State lawmakers right now are debating higher ed funding. still this month. Dr. Gold, just remind us, what is the return on investment for every state dollar that goes into the University of Nebraska system? And what are you doing as you navigate this budget system? And what are the key priorities you're focused on?
Yeah, so when we finished the assessment done late last year, the entire return on investment was estimated to be just over $10 for every state dollar that's invested in us. And what that means is that if the state allocates $1 to us this year, they will have $10 in their coffers to allocate through their appropriations process next year. Multiply that out times a $700 million state investment. That's an awful lot of cash that the state will have to return on that investment. As a matter of fact, if you look at research, it's even more than that. The research return on investment is $16. That's because new companies get started, licenses are commercialized, and the intellectual property, whether it's in agriculture or whether it's in healthcare or so many other fields, engineering, turns into tremendous return on investment. But you asked how we're negotiating the process, and that really means working very closely with members of the unicameral legislature and working very closely with the governor's office. You know, I've said many, many times that our job, my job as the president of this great university system, is just to be sure that our legislators, all 49 of them, have timely, accurate information upon which to make decisions on, to be sure that they have trusted partnerships with us so they know that the information we're providing to them is accurate so they can make the very best decisions. And, you know, I fully understand when you're dealing with a constrained budget, you got to make hard decisions. We all know that in our households. We can't do everything we want to do. We can't, you know, give our kids unlimited credit cards and our grandkids unlimited credit cards. Not to say they wouldn't like it. I'm sure they have really big ideas on what they would do with it. But we have all learned that we have to live within our budgets. That's true for the university. I know it's true for the unicameral. And the governor and I share that exact same vision.
All right, the women's softball team has had a terrific season. Jordy Ball, when she takes the circle, Huskers have a chance against anybody in this country when playing softball. How do you see the impact of women's sports resonating, not just across the university, but across this entire state?
Women's sports across the university, across the state, across the country, and actually around the world are actually on the rise. And it's great to have Jordy back, and couldn't agree more. When she takes the circle, it's like lightning, and we just wish her the very best for the remainder of this season. You know, we recently broke a 2,699, not quite 2,700, one short. Maybe we could count again and see if we could break that record. But that is an absolute record for attendance, and I'm predicting that we'll continue to break records, particularly as the weather gets better and particularly as the team continues to succeed. But whether it's in volleyball, whether it's in basketball, whether it's in soccer, you just look across the nation at attendance, you know, sellout attendance. You know, there was recently a study done when the Nebraska volleyball team played away games. Many of those schools broke attendance records. And, you know, it's great for them. It's great for us. It's great for these young ladies who are so competitive and, by the way, academically spectacular. But at the same time, I think it's really good for sports in this country. You know, not to say that I'm not a big fan of men's sports. Obviously, I am, and I love to attend these matches and games, whether they're on the gridiron or the hardwood or the track. But there are so many accomplished women athletes. To see them gain some of that spotlight and continue to grow is just heartwarming to me.
He's the president of the University of Nebraska system, Dr. Jeffrey Gold. Stay right there. I'm John Baylor. We'll have more Sports Nightly when we come right back.